So let's get my theme music going, shall we? Hello and welcome to another episode of Between the Covers. If you're watching for the first time, my name is Daniela Bleckler. I am an author, book journey mentor, and founder of a company called Conscious Dream Publishing. We work with authors from all over the world to help them to get their powerful messages and stories out there in the form of books. On the bookshelf behind me here are just some of the 350 plus books that we've published over the last 9 years. I am absolutely passionate about providing a platform for unseen, unheard voices so they can have their voices heard, stories shared, so they can educate, inspire, and empower for generations to come. My camera keeps moving. So, what is this show? Why is it called Between the Covers, I hear you ask? This is called Between the Covers because we literally get up close and personal with authors, writers, people within the publishing and writing industry, find out what goes on between the covers of writing, publishing, promoting, and distributing a book. My camera, I've got a roving camera here. It's moving in a life of its own. Anyway, so that's what this show is all about. If you find this of worth and value, how can you not? Please do share this out to your friends and followers. And if you yourself are an author or a budding author, or perhaps you are thinking about becoming an author, do get in contact. I do offer free 20-minute consultations. This is very interactive as well. So we've got someone here already saying, the big adventure. I'm looking forward to hearing about this exciting memoir. I hope it inspires me to start mine. I hope so too. The big adventure. You know where I am when you're ready. Even if you've got just a seed of an idea, you can put that consultation. I can help you really find out what your why is, what your message is, what your message is, and get you started on your way. So let's turn this music off, shall we, and chat. So this is a very important month. I've got to sort this camera out. I don't know why it's moving. Okay, so this is a very important month. As you probably know, it is Black History Month, which tends to be a very busy month. So before I introduce my awesome and amazing guests, I'm just going to fill you in with a few events that are happening this month. I have just come back from, I want to give them a big shout out, A to Z Creations, childcare, literally just rushed into the door, 5 minutes to put a bit spritz on my hair, and now I'm here in front of you. But I was there with much younger children than I'm used to. So from 5 to 11, but mainly nursery children, talking about 9 days of Piper's Snow. So that was very exciting. On the 19th of October is the Black British Book Festival. If you're not okay with that, please do, especially if you're an author. There are some amazing headliners. There are some brilliant seminars, free seminars. I'm going to be on a panel talking about breaking barriers and how you can reclaim your publishing power as an indie author. It is more than possible. I'll be speaking alongside Michael D'Souza, who is the creator of Rasta Mouse. He's got a fantastic story. I'm speaking alongside Chris and Ben from Ingram Spark, a distribution company that we use, one of the distribution companies that we use, and 2 other authors, Lola and Precious. So come and join us. It's free, first comes, first served. I have a stall. Please do come and say hello as well. I'm also going to be doing a summit. I don't know the exact day yet, but the summit runs from the 20th to the 25th of October. It's called the Top 100 Most Powerful Black Women for Women in Digital Business. I'm running a masterclass on how to transform your book into clients, cash, and credibility. I'll put all the links in here as well. Okay, so that is a bit of my housekeeping and news. I'm going to introduce my awesome and amazing guest. So, Alison Ryan-Chase. I feel like we've been working together for a long time. In fact, I think our journey first started in 2020 when she signed up to do the Power of Your Story, an in-person workshop. I had to learn Zoom very quickly because we had to do it online. She had an idea for a memoir. We published her poetry book a few years later. The memoir was still being developed. I'm so proud of her. She has now completed and published this memoir that she's been working on diligently, taking on feedback, writing, rewriting, doing everything necessary She's absolutely amazing. Her poetry book is called Downloads from Heaven. You can also get that on audiobook. So let me introduce her. Alison Ryan-Chase is the author of the poetry collection Downloads from Heaven and the memoir Out Flew the Butterfly. A mother of 5, affectionately known as Granny Ali to her grandchildren, Alison is a proud mother-in-law of 2. Married and divorced twice, Alison's life has been shaped by both deep trials and powerful triumphs. In 1999, a stroke took away her ability to speak, think, or move. I want to say at this point, we did have to reschedule the interview because Alison's speech had gone, and we'll see how she goes today. But she's bravely stepped forward and said, "By hook or by crook, I am doing this." So, against all odds, she taught herself to walk and talk again. This is the strength of Alison. She went on to earn a Bachelor of Science in Environmental Health, one of her proudest achievements. She's also a professional chef with over 35 years of experience. She is the founder of Foodorella, a fine dining business where she shares her love of food and resilience through every dish. Oh, I want to be there. Her memoir, Out Flew the Butterfly, is a story of survival, forgiveness, and divine restoration. It follows Maria's journey through trauma, motherhood, and loss, and the healing power that comes with finding her voice and reclaiming her worth. So please, I want to see these fire emojis going up and down the screen, please, as I bring her onto the broadcast. Hello, Alison. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm fine. Not too bad. Thank you.
Good.
It's good to be on.
Hooray. Thank you so much for joining us. I know it was touch and go, but it just shows the strength and resilience that you have, and determination to keep going. So thank you.
That's okay.
You are now the author of 2 books. Just think on that. Out Flew the Butterfly, how does it feel?
Seriously, it feels so amazing. It literally was my first baby, should I say. It was my idea that I had before I had the idea of the poetry book. And just because I wanted it to be so, I wouldn't say perfect, but I wanted to do it in a tasteful manner, that as it was a memoir, I didn't want to I didn't want to be a telltale kind of story. It was a story literally about Maria's life, and wording it in a way that it didn't harm other people, that had a contribution to her life story. So I wanted to take my time, and then because I love poetry so much, it just so happened that I was able to entwine the both of them in the book as well. So yeah, it's been a dream come true to get this memoir out.
I think it's such a huge thing writing a memoir. I mean, it's one thing from a personal level because it's your own personal experience, but then also there's the structuring it, what to include, what to leave out. So I'm so glad that you published the poetry book first, because you've got a really good sense of the journey. So on this one, you knew exactly what the process was.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit. I'm just going to say hello to some people who are on. Janet, who's going to be publishing a book very soon. You did a workshop together, so yeah, this will be you soon, Janet, coming on. She says, good evening. Farah's saying, I would love help in publishing my poetry. You've seen a few examples. I'm also someone who taught myself to walk and talk and swallow again after getting severe ME in 2009. I'm also a mother of 2. Synergy already, Alison. Well, do connect with Alison, and do send me a DM, and feel free to book me for a free 10-minute consultation. Happy to help. Amazing. So let's talk about the title then. Out Flew the Butterfly. It's such a striking title. Can we see the cover? Can we see the book? Mine hasn't arrived yet. Have you got it? That's absolutely gorgeous. I love it.
I love this cover. I can look at it all day.
So why the title then, and what does a butterfly symbolize in your story and personal journey?
Right, so Out Flew the Butterfly, it literally symbolizes, to me, I always saw Maria's life as a struggle. So I envisioned a caterpillar, and how a caterpillar starts off its journey on its belly. Some of them don't look very nice. They're fat, so they're kind of a bit funny in shape. And there's nothing much about their life that's appealing to the eye. And then eventually it grows into this cocoon. And then inside the cocoon, it starts changing and the metamorphosis takes place. And then after a certain amount of time, it breaks free. And as it breaks free, obviously it breaks through beautiful wings and it's able to fly high. So it's no longer on the ground, no longer something that's not really appealing to look at, but it now has grace. It now has beautiful wings. It now has color. It can fly to heights. And that's how I saw my memoir, in the sense of revealing it to my life, reflecting my life in the sense of being that caterpillar, and that has that symbolism of breaking free, being in a moment of change. And then while you're changing, being in that still moment and inside that cocoon. And then when you're ready, you just break free and you can just live life.
That's where the transformation and healing and restoration comes in, which was like a really key part of your book as well. Yeah. So what inspired you to actually share your memoir? What was that thing that made you say, I've got to do this?
I just felt that there was so much to tell. And normally I talk with my friends, and I've spoken with women in women's groups before, and sharing little bits of my story, or they might be going through something, and I might reflect on that and be able to share something within my life to them. And the way it hit home to some people when I spoke to them, I realized that there was so much in my story that can help other people. And it was a kind of release as well, in the sense of when you're writing, you find that people could write journals and they could find release in their writing their journals. And I just felt that Maria's story just had so much humor, as well as so much pain as well. I just felt that it was a story that can really minister to a lot of people out there and help others in the road to forgiveness. And my aunt said something the other day, and it was, forgiveness is key. Like, whatever happens to you in life, forgiveness is key. Forgiveness, if you have unforgiveness in you, it can lead to being bitter.
100%.
And when you do forgive, you become a better person. So basically, we need to change the I in bitter to an E to make it better. So,
I like that. Did you just come up with that?
No, my aunt did. I loved it. I thought to myself, good on Jackie Doyle, my auntie Jackie Doyle. I read that on, she had that on a post the other day. And I just felt that is so true. And then we are called to forgive. In my Christian walk, nothing matters. I can be going to church every Sunday, every Wednesday. I can be outreaching. I could be evangelizing. I could be spreading the gospel. I could be talking to people's lives. I could be not lying. I could be doing all these things. But if I have no unforgiveness in my life, it's like it matters nothing. Everything I do matters nothing. So, to find a way to be able to forgive, and I found that through writing. And as much as how you write, you tend to release as well. And it was that was my form of doing it, of finding forgiveness for things that's happened in the past.
Did you find as well, I think that's a really important point you make about forgiveness, because there's one thing of telling your story. And I always say to people, when you're writing, sometimes it's not always ready to be a book. Sometimes it's something that is you getting something out, it's cathartic, and it's great as a journal. But when there's, I believe we're always on a path of healing and evolving and everything else. Like, we're never just, we're healed and no problem, everything's fine. We're completely flawless. So we're always on an ever evolving journey. But I think there's something to be said, like when you're writing a book, and you're thinking about the audience, you've got to be coming from an empowered place. The fact that you've done that forgiveness work and the self-work, I think really came through and was able to make your book really strong.
Yeah, is that touching on subjects as well that nobody really talks about? It's very taboo in your family setting or just in general in life itself, that when you've been able to touch on certain subjects within the book, it makes it a safe place to be able to release, and also a safe place for the reader to be able to read the words and for it to apply to them as well and to help them with their own story.
Did you feel like when you were writing it, you were uncovering new layers, or did you feel like as you were writing it, you were sort of strengthening your forgiveness? Like, what was that process internally and emotionally like when you're writing? Because that's also, you're not just writing it, are you? You're
no, it literally, and that's why I think it took so long. Bear with me. I'm trying to control my speech and think at the same time. Sorry. Sorry, Danny.
Can I explain to the audience what's happening?
Yeah, and then ask me that again, because
I'll ask you again. I've forgotten as well. I'll try and remember. So while Alison gathers herself, in the book we talk about some of the health issues that came up, and one was that you had a stroke. And Alice always laughs because I always get the word wrong. She suffers from hemoglebic. I don't know why I'm struggling.
Hemiplegic.
Hemiplegic migraine, which is very serious, and that can affect Alison's speech. And when we worked on Downloads from Heaven, and for the first book, I was just in awe that she would be going through the edit whilst in the hospital and doing it off the cuff, or like come back from the hospital. So Alison is going through this again, and you've just come out of hospital and lost your speech, gaining your speech back. During this interview, it may go and come, but we're just going to give you time and patience.
Thank you.
Okay.
And then I it's gone, what you said to me before. And
I think I was asking, that was it. When you were writing, did you feel like you were discovering new layers of healing, and what was that process like being in
I find when I was writing, and that's why I think this book took so many years to develop, because I would write something down and then I'll need to break because I'll need a breather because it hit home. Or I was reliving certain traumas while writing. You're literally opening up old wounds, and you need to step back and take a breather. With me, it might be a couple days, couple weeks, couple months, just to process what it is I just wrote and then continue. So it was like layers coming off, as well as in my heart, I felt that I forgave quite a few things. And it's not until writing that I knew what I had forgiven and what was still really deep inside, still there. But writing it out and putting it in the story, and also the poetry was all the poetry in the book. Literally, each poem reflects the chapter that you've just read. And the poem is also, it's not just forgiving other people, it's forgiving me. It's self-forgiveness. And the poetry, it was literally the plaster that was on my spirit, on my soul, to close that chapter, put it to rest. It's gone now. It's all good. I literally I can read this book. I've read it over and over for the editing.
Sorry.
Editing. Oh gosh. And then you have to first time reading over the edit was difficult because I was reading things I forgot I wrote. And also reading it back over for the second edit, it was so nice. I laughed and I cried, but cried of happiness. And I found so much joy. I felt Maria's pain, but at the same time, I felt the strength. And after the last page, it felt like a closed book. And something that I'm so happy to be able to share with the world. And I love poetry. I love storytelling, and combining the two and feeling that I hate my brain.
No. We reframe that. You're doing amazingly well. The fact that you kind of combine the poetry with your memoir, and how it's structured is beautiful. How it's written, like, and I don't just say this. I genuinely enjoyed reading it. I just wanted to carry on because I can relate to a lot of the funny parts, and I didn't know Maria was smoked and was a bit naughty like that. But I could really imagine. I could feel that it wasn't one dimensional. Like you say, you have the joy, you have the laughter. I could feel how much to support your family was, and how tight, that tightness there, but also the disconnected away in some parts, and the sadness and how things happened and why they happened, and how a lot of the wounds you had in the beginning had affected your whole life.
Yeah.
And then without ruining the end, you've got the healing and the transformation, and that was down to your faith.
Yeah.
And I think that was something that was really, really touching. Guys, it is a beautiful read. Out Flew the Butterfly. Check it out. You can get it on the Conscious Dreams website, where Alison will get most of the royalties, and you'll get a signed copy, and it's a slightly better quality. Or you can buy on any other retailers where they take them. I mean, it doesn't matter, but get it directly from Alison. So the book deals with trauma, motherhood, self-forgiveness, abuse. Which part of Maria's journey would you say was probably the most emotional or difficult for you to write?
Wow. Wow. So if you think of your childhood and your teenage years and then your adult years, I think there's not one thing. I think in emotionally childhood, there's something I think will be there'll be some trauma. I think the happiest moments, I think, were teenage years in school, when I wrote about school and
I can tell. And we would have hung out with the blackjack playing. Listen, Queen of Blackjack here, and the rum drinking.
And every time I think about the scenario of me and my schoolmates in the 5th year and drinking a load of alcohol in the 6th form toilets and getting in trouble afterwards, it was one of the funniest times. The age I began to smoke, and it was just, oh Lord, thank God for salvation, I tell you. But there's so much highs and lows throughout the book, and my first marriage, so much highs and lows, so much adventures and things we did. It was, yes, it was a very loving marriage, but very turmoil as well, through arguments and stuff. And through writing, it's like my big sister, one of my big sisters read the book first, and her comments afterwards, oh, that's why. Oh, now I get it. Because obviously you don't know each other. You know each other,
in that
but
way.
you don't know each other, the ins and outs and decisions made, and why you looked a certain way at a certain time, and it all pieced together for her. And she loved it. She thought it was she really loved the book, and I was so happy. And one of my big brothers read it. It was very important to me that my immediate family got it. Like they just saw it for what it was, and it's not about putting a bad label on people, or it's literally, this is Maria's story. This is what's happened, and it's her story. It's not Jack's story. It's not Peter's story. It's not Lloyd's story. It's Maria's story, and it is what it is, basically.
And that's good. God.
Yeah, it is what it is, and I deliberately changed, obviously, names of characters and some places just to throw off people, because my aim wasn't to paint anyone in a bad picture.
Yeah,
it was just about telling my story, and for it to touch people out there that's going through trauma, going through a bad marriage, and also it taught me, because obviously I've been married twice, but it taught me life lessons. Not everything you go through is just see it as a bad thing. See it as a learning tool. See it as a stepping stone, to step up, not step down. And able to, when I see people hurting, or a woman looking sad, and we get talking, I'm able to talk into her life with truth. It's not just I'm talking to someone and encouraging them because of words and just airy words. It's I'm talking with experience. I'm talking with, you know what, don't do that way because this will happen. Or, you know, I went through this, and, you know, maybe if you did it this way, and I can actually give advice because of experience.
yeah.
And, I don't regret anything that's happened. I see it as I see it. I don't know. I can't find the word, but
learning experience, or
yeah, it's just a good thing. It's I'm just the woman that I am, and then love me or hate me, whatever. I'm just and nothing can steal my joy. I can look back on life's journey, and I'm just in awe of where God has brought me to. I'm so happy to have been married, and I'm so happy to have my children, my grandchildren, my legacy. I'm just so proud. I love my siblings more than anything. My mum and dad I just love family. My cousins, everyone. I just love family, and I'm just happy to share. And if it touches someone and it helps anyone, then I've won.
and you definitely have. And you're that, like I said, that love of your family shines through your book. and even at your book launch and the way you speak about them, you know, you all got the same smile, the same cheeks. But one thing I wanted to say in your book was that what I loved about it is that it's so easy for someone to tell their story, and everything's perspective, right? Everyone's going to have a different take on life depending on their experiences, their upbringing, their own lens. But I like that it wasn't, you know, one dimensional. There's no good, there's no bad, but there is three-dimensional characters, each fighting for their own perspective in the way they know best, as far as the marriage goes. So I'm on your side. We're with you completely, but we can also see where that kind of that line is kind of deviated with the other person. Yeah, and I think you did that fantastically. So let's talk about like your faith. So faith and divine restoration have been at the heart of your memoir. Yeah. How did your relationship with God evolve through your healing journey?
Oh, it was just, Mum's always, we've always been brought up to know God, and we weren't very strict in going to church when I was little. My mum used to cook Sunday dinner, and she used to send me off with the neighbours to go to church while she was busy doing the cooking. But I've got fond memories of church growing up, but it was until when I got sick with a stroke in 1999 that a dear friend of mine saw me and witnessed to me, basically spoke to me about coming and visit his church and, you know, come and hear a sermon, see what God will do. And that's what I done. And my sense of direction was really bad at the time, but it was just such an easy route to take. And I found the church, and I stepped foot in the door, and I literally never looked back. I was going to a Church of England church before, and then they were helping me to a certain extent, but I just needed so much more spiritually. And the church that I found was a Pentecostal faith, and I remember saying a prayer and just turning my life around and giving my life to Jesus in the June of that year. And I was prayed with. I touch on it in the book, and then where my life took that turnaround, and I started to depend more on God and the Holy Spirit, basically the Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. I spoke really badly, and I spoke like a deaf person, and I had to have speech therapy to teach me how to speak again. Lost all knowledge of cooking, and I'm as a chef.
Love cooking, yeah.
I couldn't even put gravy together. I hate the word gravy. It's either a sauce or I just couldn't do it. That's when Bisto granules came in my house because I couldn't make it myself. And my faith grew through every sermon, through every friendship built in church, and just reading God's word and listening to gospel music and just growing in my faith. Well, it was the help that the healing came when it came to my speech. And after the stroke, I was diagnosed with having hemiplegic migraines, which mimics the stroke. So when I get an attack, it looks like I'm having an actual stroke,
Oh,
but
gosh.
it isn't. And then the last one I had beginning September was really bad. And then the worst one I've had for a long time, and it's taken long speech to correct itself, and because I knew I had this evening, I closed off my phone. I refused every phone call. No, I went on
You're
a
determined.
I had a speech fast today because I start a conversation, and then if I talk too long,
Take
then
the energy.
thinking gets difficult, and word finding, the stuttering. I start sounding like Quasimodo or a drunk Russian.
You like that one?
So
That's absolutely awesome.
it's been a long journey, and um, I don't and I don't lose my faith because I get sick now and again. And I always think turning bad into good, knowing that I will touch someone and will see my attitude towards her not being well, and then still carrying on. Life's too short to sit down and wallow and be miserable. And your best energy is have a laugh, because
Yeah.
if you cry, you get snotty nose, headache that causes it in the first place, and then it makes no sense. So, no. When I can, um, therapy, writing is my uh, um,
Is it your go-to?
yeah, and then I'm looking forward to doing a follow through book 2 of Out Flew the Butterfly.
That will be her third book, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it here. She only published Downloads from Heaven last year. I think it was last year.
Yeah,
Alison's with us for life, right? Alison's with us for life. It's such a joy to work with Alison because she's always so joyful and positive. Like at every step of the way, it's like we'll send the design. She's like, "Oh, I love this," or we'll do an edit, and like you're great to work with. I'm not going to keep you much longer. I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time and for doing your speech. I messaged today. I said, "Are you sure you're okay to do today? We don't have to do." I'm determined. I've been on the speech fast. And that's testament to your resilience, your strength, your determination, your passion, but more so to your faith. And I think what you said there was really powerful, that no matter what we're going through, yes, we acknowledge it's difficult and it's hard, but isn't it harder to do it feeling miserable than it is to find some joy and laughter in it? And that's something I think you do really, really well. I've just got one last question for you. We can keep it short so that you can go back to your speech fast. What is the one thing or one message you want people to know or to get from your book?
That there's hope, that there is, no matter what happens in life, turn the page, there's always something better on the other side. I want them to know the power of forgiveness. I want them to know that it doesn't matter how you start, and it's not even how you finish. It's that it's the
journey, right?
The journey of the turnaround. And if you can repot those roots, like without through the butterfly, I went back to the root. I looked at the woman and looking at the woman thinking, okay, what made her? There has to be a root. You see a blossomed flower, it's come from a root of somewhere. You see a butterfly, it started from a caterpillar. It had a beginning, not as it shows as it's finished. And you going down and you dig deep and being able to unravel things that's happened in your life and just love yourself, not in a prideful way, in a self-righteous way, but just love yourself, just forgive yourself. Because sometimes when you read the book, certain things happen to Maria. And it was because of she done an action because her thought told her to. She didn't go through the left door because her thought told her to. But had she have gone through the right door, things would have been different. And she's grown up and she's looking back and she's like, oh God, if only I'd done, if only I listened, if only I, and it's your self-conscience that's basically saying, I'm sorry I didn't look after you. I'm sorry I didn't tell you to do. I said, sorry I didn't tell you to scream out. I'm sorry I didn't tell you to wait. And being able to embrace that and let yourself be healed and let yourself read the book and smile. Just smile, look at yourself while you're reading the book and internalize it and be brave and exercise forgiveness, not just other people, but to yourself.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Thank you. You need to have your own show. I can see just the wisdom that you're saying. Like, it just flows. It just makes so much sense. It's perfect. And just seeing your life in the way it's gone and the journey, but seeing the lesson in it. And yeah, I'm just amazed at your journey, even from like knowing you from 2020 to now, to having 2 books, from not knowing how to write a book, from not knowing at all how it's going to happen, to be able to like write your own memoir, but also make sense of your own life. And now you're in this really reflective state, and I can see that in you, and it's just brilliant. It's just really, it's just beautiful to witness. So yeah, I just have to thank you from the bottom of my heart, Alice and Alison, for joining us today and for sharing wisdom. Guys, if you've been watching, get yourself a copy of Out Flew the Butterfly. You can get it on Conscious Stream's website, signed copy, slightly better quality, and Alison gets better royalties when you pay that you get the book directly. Or you can get it on any other retailer as well, no problem at all.
And if you like poetry, download from Heaven, the first one.
Yeah, download from Heaven, get a copy. And please do leave a review, support authors. Buy their books. If you've enjoyed the book, lend it to someone else, buy somebody else a copy, or just share it, tell someone about it. Don't keep it to yourself, because you never know who that book can help. So thank you so much again, Alison.
That's fine. That's lovely. It's lovely speaking with you, Danny. I'm just happy that I didn't do too bad on my speech.
You're amazing. I'm listening to what you were saying. It was amazing. Really, really, really brilliant. And we'll chat off there. But everyone else, thank you so much for joining. I probably won't be back next week on the 23rd, but if I am, See you next week, 7 p.m. GMT, 2 p.m. EST. I don't have a guest. Maybe I might just go live and share some tips. Who knows? But I hope to see you at the Black British Book Festival at the Barbican. It's from 12 till about 5 or 7, I think. It's all day on the Sunday. Come and see a stall. Book a free 20-minute consultation, and you could be like Alison there with your story out there and your message to share on a global scale. Have a beautiful day. Evening.